Hi, welcome. This class we're going to be working on a lot of abdominal work, so the core, how the core relates to the lower back, the legs, and so we'll be using many different poses to activate. Okay, let's get started. Before we get started, if you want to learn the basics of Iyengar Yoga, I've designed a new course, Foundational Iyengar Yoga. This course is for you if you're a beginner, if you've been practicing for a while and you just want to deepen your understanding, or if you're a teacher and you would like to be more inspired, go back to the basics. So it's a 6-week course, 18 different classes, and you'll be able to go through at your own pace. You can find more details in the description box below. All right, so standing in Tadasana, bring the inner edges of the feet together. Here we're going to work on the tilt of the pelvis. So when the pelvis is coming forward, the abdomen comes out, lower back lifts. So here we're tilting the pelvis so that the lower back is descending. Press the heels down, lengthen the backs of the thighs up, bring your knees together, and then reach your arms forward. As you come back, as you come down, reach the arms back, connect with the shoulders, abdomen connects back to the lower back, lift up through the pubic bone, descend the tailbone, and reach the arms up. From here, press the knees, press into that center line, outer hips towards one another, just look forward, gaze forward, soft eyes. So again, abdomen moves back, lift the navel, in and back toward the lower back, reach the arms up. Inhale, come up, Urdhva Prasarita, come back to Tadasana. So if you did that at the wall, you're going to be at the wall, walk your feet forward, bring the feet together. So we'll have the legs, inner thighs parallel to one another, legs together from the knees to the hips, find that connection. And now tilt the tailbone so it's down. And you can feel the pubic bone lifting up, so it's no longer moving away from the wall. We all have an arch in the lower back, so we're going to take that arch away, press the feet from the knees, draw back through the hips, and from there, move the navel in and up. So you can feel the walls of the abdomen moving back toward the lower back. Reach the arms up. So bring the knees together. Using that connection with the feet, draw back from the outer knees, inner knees, to the inner pelvis. Stay there, getting an impression of the abdomen moving back, pelvis releasing downward, so the pelvis is more parallel. And reach the arms up. And then slide up, come away from the wall. So again, focusing on the abdominal area, bring your hands onto your hips, elbows towards one another, chest lifted. And then as you bend the ankles, bending the knees, coming down, keep the chest lifted. With the hands on the hips, descending the hips down in that direction. At the same time, sides, back waist corners, lifting up. Reach the arms out. Now, find the navel as you exhale, moving it back toward the lower back. Remember the back at the wall, and lifting up toward the front diaphragm. Reach the arms up. Lift up through the front body, from the pubic bone up. Soft eyes. Staying there. Press the knees together, lift the pubic bone, abdomen coming back toward the lower back. Inhale, come up. Okay, stand in Tadasana. Just let the pelvis come into that neutral position now. Middle buttocks moving forward, pubic bone lifting. Feel the space across the abdomen. Navel moving in, lift up. So the front body is lengthening up from the shoulders descending down, but you're still getting that lift through both sides of the trunk. So we have the spine right in the center, but imagine you had two long channels down each side so that we would have three, the center and awareness of the length on the right side and the left side to each side of the spine. So lifting those up, lift up through the spine. One more time. Reach the arms up and lift. Bring the abdomen back. Keep lengthening. So find those three pillars, spinal column, and those two pillars on each side of the spine, lengthening up, abdomen moving back. Stay with your breath. Inhale, come up, bring the hands down. Okay, we're going to have a chair now. So you'll have a chair, you'll have a strap. You may need the strap. And you'll have a couple blocks. And if you have bolsters, get those bolsters handy. We'll use those toward the end. If you don't have two bolsters, then you can improvise some blankets, some rolled towels, whatever you may have there. I have the chair here. I'm sitting in front of the chair. I'm going to bring each foot on top of the chair, on the edge of the chair. And as I do that, I'm going to take my hands underneath that chair seat and use the hands on the chair to help me lift up. Keep the feet pressed together. Lift up through the front body. And you can use your arms on your legs to press your legs away from you. And use that press to then lift up. Bring the back body in. Bring the navel back and lifting up. From there, you're going to take your legs on the chair, and you'll do that again, holding onto the chair. Lift up. So the legs are a little low here for Paripurna Navasana or Ardha Navasana. We'll just start out here. Abdomen moving in, lifting up. Now come forward and take your hands on your toes, Urdhva Prasarita. So you're going to bring the heels in, shift your weight back to the hips. So balancing on the hips. Instead of Urdhva, we're just going to bring the legs wide. So balancing, extend out through the legs. And like we were holding that front chair seat, we were bringing the back ribs in. Bring the back ribs in, navel in, lift up, front body lengthening, feeling the abdominal area moving toward the back body. Back waist quarters lifting. And then bring the legs back onto the chair. So this time, you'll bring your heels in a bit. Elbows out to the side, bring the back ribs in. Lift the chest. And you're going to bring one leg up. Use one foot on the chair, lift the other leg up. Back ribs in. Press up through the ball of the foot. Keep that engagement through the front body as it lengthens up. And sacrum moving in, lower back moving in, abdomen moving in and up. Bring that foot down, and then take the other leg up. So you're pulling the index finger and the middle finger and the thumb on that toe, drawing the arm back, and at the same time, once the arm connects to the shoulder, then that upper back moves forward. Bring the leg up. And then bring both feet onto the floor. You can bring this chair a little bit closer now. You bring the heels onto the chair. Might have been fine where you were before. You lean back slightly and then straighten both legs. Again, with the arms extended, pulling on the toes, draw the little toe side of the foot back, bring the navel in and up, lift up through the chest. Look beyond your toes, look forward, soft eyes. Reach from the calves to the heels and spread the little toe side of the foot back towards you. And then come down. Baddha Konasana. Bring the feet together. Take the chair and extend forward on that chair. Lengthening, abdomen moving back, inner legs lengthening. Extend the side trunk. And then come up. You bring your chair in again. A little bit closer. You lean back a little bit. This time when you lean back, I'd like you to have either a bolster or a block behind you, something that you're going to be able to feel, which will keep you from rolling back. We're going to go down a little bit lower. So you'll come with the legs on the chair. So when you do this, the abdomen is not moving away, but it's lifting up. Extend the heels. Bring your arms behind you. Interlace the fingers. The arms, the outer shoulder is rounding a bit toward the elbow, so you're not bringing the arms this way, but you're getting that width and roundedness across the upper back. Bring the elbows in, navel in and up. Now lift the lower back, lift the middle back. Be aware of the abdominal walls, moving in. Stay with your breath. Okay, and then come up. Come back to Baddha Konasana. Just release the abdomen back so the abdomen starts to soften. Extend forward. You can bring your head onto the chair. So here, lengthening the lower back, extending from the pubic bone to the navel, having enough distance so that you can just rest your head there and at the same time extend the arms. And then come up. Okay, we're going to do that one more time. This time we'll do it without the chair. So you can move the chair away. We'll keep the block. Lean back. So if you have the block too close, then you can't get as low as you need to go. So have it a couple fingers away. You can bring your hands behind you, lean back. And here you have to really be aware of the abdominal area moving in, but also the lift of the chest. Okay? You're going to extend the arms out from the shoulders through the fingertips, extending, but at the same time keeping that connection of the upper arm, which connects to the shoulders and connects to the upper back. And then bring your legs out. So coming into Paripurna Navasana, kind of a cross between Paripurna Navasana. Bring your hands behind you. Take the arms, the legs a little bit lower like we had them earlier. Upper back rounding, elbows moving in. Stay with your breath. Bring your arms up. Come back to Dandasana. Reach forward, take the toes, concave the back, lengthen the lower back, lengthen the side trunk, lift up. All right, now take your block away. You're going to bend the knees, come into Paripurna Navasana. So you're on a little bit different spot in Paripurna Navasana. You're more upright. You're not leaning back and on your lower back as you were in the last pose. All right, so you can take your hands behind your knees. With that, hold on, like we held onto the chair earlier. We pulled, brought that awareness to the middle back, upper back. Abdomen moving in, side walls, lift the lower ribs off the abdomen, and then start to straighten the legs. Press up through the balls of the feet. As you straighten the legs, feel the outer hips and lift up through the side trunk. Press the backs of the knees into your hands, and with the hands pull, and keep that lift of the chest, the awareness in the middle of the back. And then come down, come forward. Reach the arms up, come into Dandasana. Now from Dandasana, I want you to bring your fingertips back behind you, fingers facing your hips, and you'll lean back, bending the elbows, keeping the collarbones wide by drawing the elbows towards one another, and then you're going to lift the legs up. Keep your hands on the floor, back ribs in, extend the legs, and then come back down, Dandasana. Roll your shoulders back. We'll do that a couple times. So as you do that, you lift the legs up. You can feel the abdominal area engaged. So coming back, leaning back, lift the legs up. You can take the hands a little bit further forward, balance, and then bring the arms up, if that's appropriate for you. Otherwise, you can keep the hands behind your back and stay in that lifted position with the elbows bent. And then come back to Dandasana. Reach the arms forward. Abdomen moving back quietly, both sides walls of the abdomen. Reach the arms forward. Keeping the legs active so the thighs are moving down. Lower back, where the waistband is, lengthening up. Inhale, come up. Okay, now you're going to lie on your back. Urdhva Prasarita Padasana. So you're going to come down, make sure your lower back is lengthened, that tailbone's lengthened. Bring your legs back up. And again here, the abdominal area is moving toward the lower back, toward the floor. You reach your arms over. So we'll first just bring the legs up, Urdhva Prasarita Padasana. Maintaining that awareness in the abdominal area, bring your legs down. So you were at 90 degrees, now you're about 75 degrees. Keep the legs firm, as if you're holding a block between the legs. And then come back up to 90. Keep the hips on the floor, and then coming back maybe 60 degrees, a little bit lower. Reach out through the heels. Keep the abdominal area moving down toward the floor. Inhale, come up. Now, if anyone's experiencing low back pain or you're not, this is a little bit too advanced for you, bring your hands behind your back just to support the lower back. So as you come down, feeling that connection of the hands, which then will help you to connect with the abdomen. Okay, change the cross on the arms. Bring your legs up, coming back up to 90 degrees. For those of you that have a little bit more practice and there's more sensitivity there and you're able to go a little bit further, then you can move to 60 degrees, 45 degrees, holding that imaginary block Lift back up to 90. Exhale, 45. Inhale, 90. Coming to 75. 90. Still maintaining your awareness in the lower back, in the abdomen area. So if it's moving up toward the ceiling, then take a strap. So you can always have a strap and bring one leg down to 90 or to 75, and then one leg to 60, and one leg to 45. Okay, for those of you that are doing both legs together, we'll do another 3 or 4. Exhale, 75. Hold a few breaths. Exhale, lower, 45. 60. 75. 90. We'll go a little bit faster. We'll go down to 45 and come back up to 90. Exhale. Pin the outer hips down, aware of the abdominal walls descending. Bring your legs up and down. Use your breath as you exhale. Up and down. Keep extending the arms. Keep extending the lower back. And then bring the legs straight up. Bend the knees. Take the legs out to the side. Come into that Prasarita Padasana. Wide legs stride. Keep the tailbone moving down onto the floor. Front thighs moving away from you. Left and the right side of the abdominal walls, moving towards your lower back. Feeling the back waist corners, descending and lengthening towards your hips. Lift up through the side trunk, through the armpit chest area. And then bring the legs up, bend the knees, and you're going to swing forward. Coming up, first just sitting in Sukhasana. Take a twist here. So bringing one arm behind you, the other hand on your thigh. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, turn. So your right hand is behind, your left hand is on your thigh. Be aware of the breath. So using the exhalation, the action through the abdominal area, the turning of the back body, back ribs, front chest. And then coming back to the center, going to the other side, press the arm, walk the hand back, inhale, lengthen up, exhale, turn. Using that press of the hand on the outer knee, outer thigh, to assist you in lengthening both sides of the trunk up, exhale, turn. And release. Okay, from Sukhasana now, we'll lie down on the mat. Both feet will be at the wall. So adjust your pelvis and measure your distance so that when you straighten your legs, you can be a little bit closer to the wall so that your knees are not completely straight. And when you do that, don't lift your hips, don't lift your shoulders. It will, when you straighten your legs, it will descend your hips, descend the back edge of your pants and the top of your shirt. So if your shirt is tight around your neck, then you can make some space. But here, when you straighten your legs this way, the top of the buttocks is descending and the shoulder blades are moving down. So just feel that lengthening of the lower back. All right, we're going to come into Jathara Parivartanasana. So here, you'll bend the knees and lift the hips up. I'm going to bring my hips to the left a little bit, and then bring the knees in. And then I'm going to bring the feet away from me. So in this action, I'm working more on the turning of the abdomen. So keeping both hands pressed down, both arms, both shoulders coming over. Keep the heels away from the back of the hips. Stay there. Now turning the lower waist toward the upper waist, the lower ribs toward the upper ribs. So concentrating on that waist, that abdominal turning, ringing action. And then come back to the center. Bring your hips back into the center. You can bring your feet onto the floor and lift your hips up, which might work a little bit better. So bring your knees in toward the chest. In the final pose, you're holding, the feet are in line with your hands. So not bringing the feet too far, the thighs too far away. Keep the thighs moving in towards you. So you have that close angle with the legs, and then you'll start to roll over. As you roll over, you want this hip, this top hip, to lengthen and extend down. The lower hip, the knee is moving back. So you can see this is quite far out. So when I roll onto the side, I have my microphone on this side, so I can see that's why I'm kind of jutting that leg out. So roll onto your thigh, tuck the buttock under, and from there, draw this lower leg back and extend from the top of the pelvis to that top leg. So you're lengthening that leg. You'll feel that turning action in the upper back and the ribs. Keep both hands and arms moving down. And now bring the legs away from the hips. As you lift the legs up, keep the legs lifted and turn from the lower waist. Turn from the lower back ribs. Stay there with your breath. And then bring the legs back. Come back to the center. Now we'll do that again. For those of you that's already a challenge, then just do the bent leg version again. For those of you that can go a little bit further now, you're going to keep the bottom leg bent and you're going to raise the top leg. Okay, so again, moving the hips slightly off center, bring the knees towards you, roll over the outer hip socket, moving that lower knee back toward the hip, and then extend out with that top leg. Keep both legs lifted, turn the waist, turn the chest, using the breath, feeling that action through the back body, but also through the front body. And then come back. Feet on the floor, lift the hips, tucking the hips again, rolling onto that right hip. Keep the right knee bent and extend through the top leg. Bring that lower heel away from your buttocks, making more space there between the calf and the thigh. Use your exhalation, turn. From that extended leg, draw back into that left hip. From the right knee, moving back into that right hip. And then bend the knee, bring the feet back. Okay, we're going to do both legs. So if that's appropriate for you, then you can do both legs. This third time, you can either keep the knees bent like we did the first time, or with one leg straight and one leg bent. So we'll go a little bit faster here. Okay, starting from here, bring the legs up, tuck that outer buttock under, and then bring the legs over, and then come back up, hop them in the middle, come over. Do it a couple more times. Stay with your breath. Bring the legs over. And bring the legs over. Still using that turning, twisting action. Stay grounded with the arms and the shoulder. Last time. And then exhale. Lengthening the legs. Lengthening the opposite arm. Inhale, come up. And then bring the legs over. Bring the legs up, Bring the feet onto the floor. Bend the knees, bring the knees into the chest. And here, just deflate the whole abdominal area. So from the left side of the abdominal wall, the right side, keep the feet relaxed. And with your hands on the shins, bring the shins toward the thighs, thighs toward the abdomen. Keep the buttocks on the floor. Collarbones wide, connecting the arms back into the shoulders. And then release. Roll onto your right side and press yourself up. Okay, so you can stay at the wall. You're going to take your strap now. Come back into Supta Tadasana, so both feet together. Again, you can lengthen like we did. Legs a little bit short, so they're bent. And then slide the heels down. Let the whole top of the buttocks descend down. And then you're going to bring your right leg up. So connect from the heel to the femur bone into the pelvis. Now slide the strap up the foot and bring the leg up towards you. If your left thigh is lifting up, then or your hamstring is very tight and it's giving you some pain, then stay wherever you can have a straight leg. So either off 90 degrees, or if you can come to 90 degrees, then come a little bit deeper. Abdomen descending. Keep the left thigh down. And now, externally rotate that leg. You're going to take the foot, get that external rotation. Bring the leg in towards you. As you bring the leg in towards you, see if you can bring the outer side of the foot into that crease of the arm. Let that outer hip extend. And then come up. Take your hand behind you. You can catch the foot. Keep the abdomen moving down. You can keep this hand on the calf for the moment and bring that outer ankle in, bring the foot down, and then lift up. Keep the abdomen awareness there, that sensitivity of the navel moving down. And then release. Here, if you can take hold of the toe, take hold of the toe. If you can't, then you can have the strap and bring the leg over to the side. So if you've got hold of the toe, just index and middle finger, release the leg out to the side. So you're opening the whole pelvis here. Keep the other arm on the ground just to adjust your shoulders. Keep the shoulders balanced between the left and the right, left thigh down, and then take your hand on your thigh. Press the hand on the thigh, press the pelvis down. And with the outer edge of that right foot, right hip, where we were rolling over before, move that buttock in, away from the floor, and open that right groin. And then bring the leg up, release the leg. Might feel the difference in both legs there. And then take your foot up, take the strap. First come onto the heel. And then come onto the mounds of the toes. Bring the leg towards you any amount. Outer hip is moving away. So keep that space in the left side of the pelvis by moving that outer hip away. Keep the right foot pressing into the wall. Now here I'm going to show with a strap on this side. So you'll bend the knee, externally rotate the foot, like we did on the other side. Moving that, getting that turn, that rotation. So if it was difficult on the other side, you can, with that strap, hold onto that strap, bring it in. And then as you lift up, you can take your hand behind so your head is resting on your forearm. And then you can hold on, either onto the strap, lift up slightly, abdomen moving down, hand on the thigh. So you can feel that action coming through the upper abdomen. If you're able to take the toe, lift up, take hold of the toe. So sorry, you should just do a little more preparation there. Bring your foot into the elbow, getting that opening through the hip joint. Using the forearm to press that outer edge of the foot. Keep the foot down, keep the leg at the wall, extending, and then take your head up, take the foot up, catch hold of the toe, rest the head, and then use the arm again to press down. So you'll feel this is a nice hip opening, but it's also helping you to activate through the core. And then release. You can bring the hand on the toe, third and second index finger and third finger and thumb. Bring the leg towards you any amount. Keep extending the heel at the wall, right hand on the hip. And now externally rotating that leg, bring the leg to the side. If you're lifting on this side, then bring your hand down, bring your shoulder down. And from the lateral leg, that Supta Padangusthasana leg, find that left buttock and move the left buttock, activate it, lifting it up toward the front groin, extend the leg. Feeling the space through the abdominal area. Right back corners of the waist, long. And then inhale, bring the leg up, take the foot down, and roll onto your right side. Okay, now I'm going to have you take 2 bolsters. Before we do that, we'll take a chair. So once you have your chair, I'm going to have you have a thin sticky mat. I have a green sticky mat here. If you have one, you can take that, fold it in 4, and bring it onto your seat. That will just help so that the pelvis, like when we were going into Supta Tadasana and we were lengthening the legs, it helped to drag the flesh of the buttocks down. Here, with that sticky mat, you can bring your legs in. I'm going to come back in more toward the center. So when I straighten the legs, you can use the wall. You can use something under your feet as well, or you can just come into this position. If you've been practicing a while, you're going to lengthen the legs, descend the thighs. Use your hands at that top of the chair. Now here we're extending and opening through the pelvis. So having that stability from the backs of the hips, extend the legs, and then we're just going to reach our arms over our head. If that's difficult to do, then you just take your hands underneath the chair and create that space for the upper back. If you're okay with lengthening, extend the heels away, thighs down, reach the arms over the head, and extend through the fingertips. So feeling that space come through the front of the body. Lengthening. So stay engaged with the legs. Feel here my right index finger is on the floor and my left isn't. So you may notice some asymmetries in your body, and this is where you can just make sure you've made the right adjustment, and the side that is a little bit more dormant, that you can lengthen more. I had an injury on this arm a long time ago, so I always have to lengthen this side a little bit more. Thighs down. Stay with the breath. And then take your hands back, bend your knees. Keep your feet parallel to one another. So we're not going to hold that very long, but just getting that extension through the front body. Now bring your hips into the chair. To come up, you want to be able to have that leverage. So if you're too far into the chair, hard to come up. I want you to be able to pull with your arms, press with your feet, and come up. And then sit on the chair. Okay, now you're going to come out of the chair, and you'll have two bolsters. All right, so I'll move the chair here, get two bolsters. And along with the bolsters, I'm going to build it up a little bit. So I can take a couple blocks under the bolster. I'm going to bring this bolster to the side, and then the other bolster on top. So I built it up where it's a little bit higher than normal, depending on your bolsters. If your bolsters are soft, if your bolsters are firm, whatever the condition, I want it to be a little bit higher than normal, and then you can take your strap. So you're going to have the strap wide, so you can bring it around the feet. And then I want the center of the pelvis right in the center here. So the abdominal walls are getting extended and lengthened. Bring the strap wide so that you can bring the feet apart, and then come down and just bring your arms to the side. So you're on the back of the head, shoulders are resting on that bolster. Depending on the size of your bolster, the shoulders might be on the floor. Keep the legs moving away from one another, lengthening. So you're getting that opening through the pelvis. So we can just now, we've done a lot of work with the abdominal area. So now we're just going to bring that space. So breathe into it. Put your arms in a comfortable position, wherever that might be. Keep your legs extending. Now you can do this at a wall as well. So if your heels are extending into the wall, then you can feel that your legs are active. Thighs are descending. Observe your breath. Breathe into the front body. As you watch the breath, let the breath start to settle. Let your exhalation lengthen. So the highest point is the pelvis. So keep the legs descending downward, thighs descending. So letting go of the abdominal area completely. 2 more breaths. And now bend your knees. Take your feet out of that strap. Be there for a few breaths, and then you'll roll onto your right side and you'll come up. You can take the bolster underneath the knees and one bolster on the abdomen. You can put the blocks on top. So rolling to your side, come up. So I have one bolster for my legs. Take the blocks away. If your shoulders are tight, then you can have a blanket for the head. So bring the bolster on the abdominal area. I'm going to bring the blocks there as well. These are pretty heavy blocks, so it gives some weight to the bolster, and I can feel that gently in the abdomen as it releases down. Extend the legs out. Adjust your arms, have your shoulder blades flat on the floor, maintaining that openness of the chest. You can take the hands behind the head, find your occipital bones, lengthen the back of the head, so the chin is slightly moving down towards your chest. And then, once you've made all those adjustments, just let yourself be. Come back to the breath, just releasing the breath. Let your exhalation be a little bit longer. When we watch the breath automatically slows down. So here in Shavasana, as you give directions to the exhalation, observe how the breath slows down, how the body begins to relax. And you have a sense of letting down. The legs are heavy, legs are on that bolster, but also the abdominal area, the core of the body, from the pelvis to the abdominal, the back ribs, the front chest. Feeling the breath move in through the nostrils. Just allow the jaw to release. And as you're there in Shavasana, if you find anywhere that you are still holding on or gripping, bring your breath there and let go further with that extended exhalation. Relaxed inhalation. So as you're here in Shavasana, it's feeling how the nervous system is relaxing. The brain heavy toward the floor, let the mind relax. Just be with the breath. I'll set a timer for you and stay here another 5 minutes. Just allow yourself that time. That time where you draw yourself in, moving away from the senses, moving away from any doing. Just allow yourself to be. Namaste. Hi, thank you for joining me. So we did a lot of work with the core, not too difficult, but starting to move to the various layers. So it takes time. It's really important to build that strength up and awareness and sensitivity. We'll see you in the next class. Enjoy and practice. Take care. Namaste.